Alright, Diablo 4 players, very big and important news just dropped today. That is Rod Fergusson leaving Blizzard. He's not just leaving Diablo, he's leaving Blizzard. So this is actually very, very big. And I was kind of curious to see what some people were saying. And a lot of people are actually pretty excited about this. And I kind of want to talk about my thoughts on the subject, as some of you guys asked me on Discord, because this is pretty big. If you guys don't know who Rod is, he recently tweeted out and said that after 5 years of driving the Diablo franchise forward, with 4 big launches, it's time for me to step away from Blizzard and Microsoft. So he's done with them for now, and it says sword in hand and see what's next. The teams are set up for success with an exciting slate of releases ahead. I'm incredibly proud of what we've built together and looking forward to what comes next for Diablo and for me. So this is pretty important, as he was the GM of all things Diablo. So that doesn't include Diablo 4, but that's the main game that I cover, so I'm going to mainly focus in on that. And I want to say that there is some cool stuff coming out for Diablo very, very soon. Me and a lot of the other Diablo partners were in like a secret meeting. I'm just really excited to show you guys what is to come in the future here. Unfortunately, it's under NDA right now, and Diablo still has a lot of cool stuff. Remember, guys, this game is supposed to last for 10 years, and we still have a long ways to go. So more than likely, we're going to see someone else taking place here. And I wanted to say that just reading via Reddit over here, more people are very excited about this. And while I want to say that there are some good things with Diablo 4, there are a lot of things that I would like to see in the future. And for me, it's exciting because it's just anyone that is able to hop on and kind of change up the game is going to feel refreshing, right? Regardless if it was good or not, for any video game, it's kind of cool to see maybe a different perspective on, itemization or any of the different things that we've been wanting to see for a long time. So anyways, I wanted to also stress that he actually played Diablo. This was a thing that I saw like time and time again, and I wanted to at least give Rod some backup over here. The guy played a lot of Diablo, and I want to still say that there are some major issues, and we can't directly correlate everything that he did, like as far as like, did he buff Frozen Orb, did he buff Hoda Barb. I don't know exactly what he like changed in the game, but I do know kind of what he has actually done over here. And as far as it goes, I just use GPT over here to go ahead and have like the sources provided as well. But basically, he was committed to better expectations management, enhancing transparency, and maybe this could be something with like the campfire chats, which I actually really like that they've done, and then also timely patch notes and advanced dev streams, and then using player feedback and telemetry more effectively. He's also known as a closer, so this is something that I would say is kind of important over here. Basically, someone that is able to hit deadlines. So basically, when games get developed, there's a lot of times where they'll put out a release date, and video games just don't hit that release date because of stability or maybe bugs or testing in general. And I'm gonna be real, Diablo 4, as far as all of the Diablo games, probably has had the most amount of times where like something comes out, it gets disabled, sorry guys, it's not working. I mean, we're still in a state where we don't have an official leaderboard, and we still are missing loot filters, which I still view as something that should have been out when the game came out. But Diablo 4, let's be real, they have been taking a lot of feedback, and I want to say that it's taken a very, very long time for them to use that feedback that a lot of players have kind of put in, and hopefully very soon we're going to see all of that cool stuff happen. But I'm just more interested to see like who is going to be taking over. But again, these are some of the things that he's actually done as far as during his leadership here. Again, it doesn't specify if he is releasing certain things in terms of like new uniques. That was Adam, and Adam has actually left the team too, and that's kind of crazy because there's so many different people getting shifted around. And again, for me, I'm more excited just because I want to see more people design more unique items and different things into the Diablo franchise, not just Diablo 4. Like D2R could have another expansion, and I would be super interested in seeing that. But as far as it goes, like how do I personally feel about this? Again, even during like the Diablo partner meetups, as far as it goes, obviously most of that stuff is under NDA, but I haven't really been able to directly correlate like what he's done over here and like kind of pinpoint. He just kind of tweets out other things, and he'll mention certain things that are coming out for the game, doing interviews talking about like, certain release dates. That's the kind of stuff that I see Rod doing. So as far as like how I feel about this personally, Again, I'm just more excited to see what's to come for the future of Diablo. This could be good or bad. It's pretty big to have the GM of the entire Diablo franchise just be like, okay, guys, I'm leaving, without an announcement recently of, I guess, who is replacing him. I mean, I could be hopeful, right? I don't know if David Kim is going to be working on the game again, but I think that this guy was really cool. He was working on Diablo back in 2020, but he no longer is there. But nonetheless, these are kind of the things that I'm more excited to see about for the future of Diablo, and whoever maybe takes his place. If someone even does take his place, it'll be interesting to see kind of where they go with the game's direction, because this is one thing that I felt like Diablo 4 was kind of really lacking for a very long time. It was kind of the direction that they wanted to go with the game. It kind of felt like a lot of times Diablo was kind of just passed around. We'd have all these new like lead designers or like this other like person on the campfire chat, and then we would like have other people just go away completely. And it kind of feels like they keep on shifting and handing like, you know, the torch to other people, and I'm hopefully going to be able to see kind of what I want to see more. And if you're asking me like who would I like on this team, I would love to have David Kim come back, but I also really think that it would be so awesome if they took any of the Diablo partners. I don't care who it is. You could take Yugioh, you could take me, you could take Deoxide, Macro Bio Boy, Lucky Luciano, Rax. There's so many awesome Diablo content creators. DM, there's just so many Diablo content creators that I feel like if they were able to be in charge of Diablo in general, they can make this game so much better. So I mean, fingers crossed, that'd be really cool if they're like, yo, Yugioh is now in charge, Dat Mods, or again, any of the people that are on the Diablo partner team would be an excellent fit, because I feel like in general, this is a huge part of the criticism, which is, again, the endgame. The guy put in hours, okay? Unless he's just sitting there AFK, you can see he's got 60 days, almost 1,500 hours into the game, and what I wanted to really say is that we need more endgame variety with these brand new seasons. So I'm hoping whoever is coming to take his place or is going to, you know, work on whatever positions that he could maybe be in charge of, to have a lot more endgame experience. The reason why is, like, I think past 1,000 hours, these are the players that are going to come back every single season buying your battle pass. You need to support them. Even though I would say, like, you know, there's a lot of new players coming into the game since they made the game free on PlayStation and Xbox, and sometimes they have like free trials and stuff, but I really want to say that they really should try to focus in on content that is kind of like endless content that can really be accessible for those players that have already dumped tons and tons of time into the game. But also, this is a huge area where I view it as, okay, if you're like the GM, I would instantly look at a lot of the skills and be like, okay, well, there's certain skills that are like thousands of times better. Can we like kind of even the playing field? I've always felt like Diablo 4 had this system where, like, if you don't play like the top tier build, I don't want to party with you. Like, it is still a very big issue, core issue in the game. So I'm hoping if the new GM is watching this, please, can we have at least majority of the skills viable at the end game and a little bit more inline. Again, I'm not saying for every skill that needs to be exactly like pit 100, but I'm saying that you could have some variances, but the variances are just too massive. I'm talking thousands of times stronger, especially when you look at the viewpoint of Diablo 4 being a entry action RPG game, where it's supposed to be a game where people that never played an action RPG can pick up, have some fun, and maybe try to get to the end game and spend more time in there, as well as having other clan support. Like, this is something that, like, they added clans into the game, and then, like, what do we do with clans? Whereas, like, Immortal always gets way better stuff. And remember, I want to stress this one more time again with Rod over here. He does all Diablo. It's not just Diablo 4, but specifically, like, the clan support in Diablo 4 is very lackluster when you compare it to Immortal. So, like, beefing the clan support up or encourage people to play together. This is an online always game. Why not encourage people to play online together? Because a lot of people actually play this game solo. But I feel like there's a lot of useless items in the game. If I was the GM here, I would be like, okay, we're going to look at all the uniques that are, like, basically seeing less than, 0.1% play at the end game. Let's make them at least viable for people to maybe try out and experiment with some cool builds. I also feel like the seasonal content is hard to keep players in, and this is kind of where I would say maybe this is more of his area, right? Because I don't know if he's like designing the certain skills and the uniques, right? I think he's more in like the background of trying to get those specific dates like launching, but I think that it also comes down to keeping players in. The retention rate on Diablo, any Diablo content creator can tell you, the first 2-3 weeks of the season, it's hot, you drop a vid, it's doing well, and then you go like a couple weeks out of the season, the video views, they're not necessarily as good. And this isn't just with Diablo though, it's with a lot of action RPGs, but I think this area in particular is one thing that I would love to see the new GM really take a look at to make the season entertaining. We did used to get like these mid-season updates, and we did kind of get a season update. We had like a Hoda buff, we had like a Flurry buff, and like a Druid pulverized buff. There's a lot of stuff, including like Razor Wings getting buffed in the middle of this season, but I want to say that they are so small that like it didn't really matter. And I want to say that if you want to keep players kind of continuing the season in like the middle of it, I understand like making new uniques and new things, that might be too difficult and that might be too time consuming, but I think cranking up and just shifting up some numbers, specifically just buffing a bunch of the stuff that maybe is brand new to the season, like the Flurry Rogue, that's brand new in this season, and it's not even like the top tier build, so like you should encourage your players to play the new stuff. And maybe if it doesn't perform, you can look at the mid-season update and just crank the knob up, if just to make it, you know, a little bit more spicy. Let players try and experiment with like the brand new build and encourage them to try it, because if you take a skill that's, you know, F tier and you're like, okay, 20% upgrade on it, it's still unfortunately in that category. So who's ever in charge of this, I would say look at the mid-season update. You can just make it a numbers game, right? Because that's a little bit easier to do than making new items. I mean, I would love to have brand new set items, add, you know, charms, add the Horadric cube, add Kanai's cube, just throw it in the middle of the season. That'd be awesome. But again, I'm more understanding that like they should probably make it so it's just a numbers change. That way they can make the new season a little bit more exciting. As far as the Mythic farming, I feel like this is like a big issue, especially if anyone's played the game for thousands of hours. Mythic farming is not the most enjoyable, especially if you're looking for like a very specific greater affix. Greater affix in general is something that I think could be looked at. Again, it supports the people that have been playing thousands of hours. When you have to triple like Mythic to get the build up and running towards the end game, I would say that Diablo as a more casual game, it doesn't really fit that picture, and I want to say that hopefully in the future we can kind of see some better adjustments to the Mythics, because I see this very, very frequently as people complain about the Mythics in general. Not just the Mythic farming, but there's so many Mythics, like I'm talking about that, the rarest items of the entire game of Diablo 4, with the exception of technically, I understand that there is like that Mythic Goblin, which is also like super, super rare. But for the most part, the Mythics in general should be at least viable. Getting items like the Melted Heart of Selig, the Spear, the Shattered Vow, like there's so many bad Mythics in the game, and if I was the GM of Diablo, I would want to make these Mythics super awesome, so no matter what drops, you're like, oh sweet, I got a Mythic, versus oh my gosh, I can't believe I got this one. And like half of the Mythics are useless, and I think this is a big area in the game, because when one player for the very first time gets that purple drop, they're probably freaking out, they're super excited. I was super excited when I got my first Harlequin, but unfortunately, there are so many that are really bad, and I think that this is one area where they can really make the game feel a lot better. And again, this is my biggest point, is that people that have been playing this game for thousands of hours will definitely tell you that there are some major issues, and major issues around the fatigue area. So I'm hoping whoever does, you know, take his place will be able to do those sort of things. So that's kind of my take on it. You guys can let me know your thoughts down below, but either way, the way I see it is, you know, I appreciate him working on the game, but I'm also very hopeful for the future of this game. Remember, they said that this game's going to go on for 10 years, so we're going to have someone else, more than likely, that is going to replace these, and maybe we'll see a change up of the releases, because remember, he was supposed to try to get those release dates out, and hopefully we will see some fresh air in Diablo for the future. But I can already tell you, there is some fresh stuff coming, and I can't wait for you guys to see it, because it's actually pretty cool. But I don't know if Rod was directly related to that, or if it's whoever is going to be announced that is going to be the new GM of Diablo. But anyways, yeah, that's the big news, guys. But let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, sub if you're new, and I'll update you guys very soon as the NDA lifts, to talk about what is coming in Diablo, what has been cooking up. But anyways, thanks, Rod. Appreciate what you've done for the Diablo franchise so far, but I'm interested to see who's going to be taking your place and what's to come for the future.